The ocean. It covers 71% of the Earth's surface and comprises 99% of the Earth's biosphere. Known as the origin of life on Earth, the ocean is almost ubiquitously present in human history and culture, and yet, we know so little about it. In this video essay, we will be diving deep into Abzú, a game whose name literally means Ocean of Wisdom, and exploring the connection we have to the ocean and the creatures that call it home. Abzú takes place in a picturesque underwater world, full of beautiful scenery that is teeming with life. You experience this world through the eyes of a scuba diver, exploring diverse aquatic environments and interacting with its many inhabitants. The game is divided into several levels, each of which has the player utilize their environment in order to revitalize lifeless parts of the ocean. Abzú seamlessly combines fluid gameplay, stunning visuals, and a majestic soundtrack to create a truly unique experience. However, does the game really succeed in creating a genuine connection between the player and the creatures with which it interacts? Well, first we must define a genuine connection in this context. A genuine connection goes farther than the spectator-object relationship that we might see, say, at an aquarium. It is almost a mimicry of the bond that an owner has with their dog, one of companionship and mutual understanding. Abzú aims to create a genuine connection between humans and animals by using the many types of interactions that take place within the game. As you make your way through Abzú, you find different methods of understanding animals and their role. Even the smallest fish have an important role in Abzú's story, leading you when you don't know where to go next. In having your motion match that of the fish, Abzú seems to argue that you are merely a small part of a much larger oceanic community. You feel as though you are connected to the ocean as you ride through the currents with sea life. This feeling, we believe, is what the creators of Abzú sought to create in a virtual format. Another, more direct form of connection comes with the concept of meditation. This game mechanic allows the player to gain a perspective of a random animal in the surrounding waters, creating a connection between human and animal that cannot be replicated in the real world. This allows the player to gain a better understanding of how each animal moves and interacts with its surroundings, ultimately attaining appreciation for their individuality. Although perhaps the telepathic bond between human and animal is not too realistic, it does serve to allow you to establish animals as an integral part of Abzú. The final bond is created between two unlikely components of the game, the player and a great white shark. Perhaps the most complex relationship addressed in Abzú, the shark begins as an antagonist, destroying the player's robot assistant. Throughout the course of the game, the shark and the player become allies, eventually defeating the evil machine that is destroying the ocean at the end. Abzú treats the shark as an emotional being. His human companion is distraught when the shark dies at the hands of the evil machine. Throughout the course of the game, the feelings of the in-game player mimic the feelings of the real-life player, as a bond between human and shark is created, fostered, destroyed, and subsequently reborn. This bond serves as direct evidence that Abzú simulates a real connection between humans and animals. While Abzú certainly has aspects that help to create this genuine connection, there are certain parts of the game that could be interpreted to suggest otherwise. One of the primary ways in which the player can interact with sea creatures is by riding them. By latching onto these creatures, you can take control of their actions and use their bodies to your own benefit, either in advancing the story or just for pure entertainment. Having the animal give up its autonomy and handing it over to the player establishes a hierarchical relationship, putting the human in a plane of higher importance. By riding these creatures, you create temporary and superficial bonds that disappear once you let go. The aesthetics of the game might also make a case for the aquarium-esque spectator-object relationship. The game is just so visually appealing, with its vibrant colors and crisp graphics, that it almost promotes the aquarium experience. There are several instances during the game in which the diver has interactions with the animals. Each of these times, the animals appear domesticated in some form. In real life, animals of the sea are wild creatures. They move about freely and follow their own instincts. But in this game, there are times when the animal interactions clearly differ from the way an authentic animal interacts. While the game may make it seem like the humans and animals are equal, it almost never is this way in real life. Throughout the game, the animal's behavior gives them an appearance of being emotionless, peaceful, idealistic, and domesticated. These appearances of the representations further conflict with the behavior of these animals in the real world. The animal-specific behavior does serve a purpose, though. It provides both a helping hand to our protagonist and a source of entertainment for the player. Abzú attempts to create a genuine connection between the player and animals through numerous human-animal interactions, but for all of its successes, it falls short in certain areas. Every creature in the ocean, including the player, must move and exist within it. Everything in the game is meant to feel intrinsically tied together. Now, it does not ignore that to an extent nature is unreachable to us, but instead it invites the player into believing that we are a part of something bigger. Despite any shortcomings, we believe the game is successful in creating a relationship between the player and the ocean and its creatures. The many interactions with ocean creatures submerge the player in a way in which the player does not feel like a spectator, more so an equal. However, an interesting follow-up is whether Abzú's idealization makes this connection questionable. Everything in the game is idealized to a point where the player might not recognize the real ocean in Abzú's ocean. When everything is too perfect, from the soundtrack to the graphics, representations might not be direct or realistic enough for the player to feel the actual object being represented. Although Abzú does put us within nature, leaving its imperfections out of the game might make the player skeptical of how the game really presents nature to us, undermining the strength of the connection the game attempts to establish between the player and the animals in the ocean. In conclusion, although Abzú succeeds at creating a genuine bond between the player and the animals, its bond may lose most of its meaning due to the idealistic nature of the game in which it was formed in.